All right, we back. I love it. I love it. I love it. I told y'all I was going to be more consistent, and I've been living up to that in every sense of the word. I've been living up to that. I want to, hold on, let me lower this. Because basically, I lower the screen because I don't want to see how much time I'm talking. I just want to give y'all the game, and I don't want to put it within the confines of time. I just want y'all to get the game. So if the game is 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever the case may be, that's what it is. So I don't want to see the time. So I got to lower the particular thing that I'm dealing with to make sure I don't do that. So that's what I did. Anyway, shit, man. It's a lot to talk about. To be completely honest, it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to ponder. It's a lot to go over. It's just a lot. There's many things we need to talk about. And I know typically I like to give y'all like a little rundown, things of that nature, but I'm just going to start talking, man, because I have my topics written down. I don't want you to think I came unprepared. I didn't come unprepared. In any way, shape, or form. I didn't come unprepared. But it's a lot. It's not too much, so I won't have you out here all day or however you listening to your podcast. Or if you decide to play it on YouTube in your background, stuff like that. See, I opt to do strictly audio. I went from video to audio because I feel like with the video, you felt obligated to watch it. And that's not the kind of content that I deliver. I don't deliver content that you have to watch. I deliver content you need to listen to. So therefore, I cut the video from my podcast because I just feel like you don't have to look at me the way I explain things, the facial expressions I make. You just need to hear me. You can hear my inflection in certain things and stuff like that. So that's why I cut the video feed for those that are asking. That's why I did that. So a lot of times when I come to y'all about topics, they're either someone who inquired about me doing it, or I run across it via the internet, via my personal life, however it may come about. A lot of things do come from the internet and specifically Twitter, so make sure you are following me, HVO Marv. HVO Marv, M-A-R-V. Make sure you follow me. So, what I've noticed is there's been this hard press by mainstream media to split up Black liberations. Honestly, they're trying to do it in a divisive manner. And I've come up with a solution. Because remember last week I talked to y'all about the divide and conquer tactics that were being played. There was just these tactics of divide and conquer where you get us fighting each other. Because I told y'all, although I condemn those men who attack those women, I condemn them fullest. I treat them like white supremacists. I told y'all this last week. It just was suspicious to me how those videos quickly became viral when we've been shown, history has shown us, that mainstream media do not give a flying fuck about black women. Then all of a sudden these videos go viral. So that raised my antennas immediately because I'm like, well, they don't care about black women in any sense of that. Like truly, they don't care about black women. And as you can see, some black men don't give a fuck about black women. I don't even argue with black women on that because I see you niggas. I can't stand you niggas. You niggas is dirt. So I'm not shocked that these things happen. I've never in my life been around a black woman that got attacked and did nothing. Never in my life. To be completely honest, if you ever see me out in Buffalo at a bar or whatever the case may be, and there's any women out who are looking uncomfortable or whatever the case may be, you'll never see me just stand by. You know what I mean? But in particular, I have a soft spot for black women, as you all know. So you never see me stand by and watch that happen. I'm not one of the motherfuckers, well, we don't know what she did. We don't know what could have happened. Like, I don't subscribe to that, even though that is a factor that sometimes need to be, you know, you gotta look into it. What if the motherfucker kills somebody's kids or something? You know what I mean? But I'll let y'all sort that out in a meaningful manner, but you won't see me out and about and just sitting back watching black women get attacked in any way, shape, or form. Like, it just won't happen. You won't see me with women in general. I don't want to be this all lives matter nigga. Just, we're talking about black women right now. You won't see it happen with black women. So I'm seeing this whole hashtag of all Black Lives Matter. And I'm just confused because it's like, yeah, Black Lives Matter already covers that. But of course, this is just a tactic to rope in this agenda. And I hate I don't hate it actually. It's just the truth. This is an agenda. There's no reason whatsoever to say all Black Lives Matter. But to undermine Black Lives Matter, the statement. Because we don't fuck with the organization. This is why we move into the no anti-black racism. Because of this shit right here. Because it's so easy to take this phrase and find a way to undermine it. You can undermine it with the all lives matter, trans lives matter, brown lives matter, white lives matter. Like, you can start to undermine this hashtag or this phrase in so many different ways. But there's no way you can undermine no anti-black racism. There's going to be some motherfuckers that's going to say, well, no anti-brown racism. No anti-Asian racism. No they're going to start saying that and they're going to sound stupid. So this all Black Lives Matter. I want to present to y'all a theory that I've concocted on my own. Something I've been hashing over, thinking about, mulling over. And I want to bring it to the table. First, I want to discuss how do we fight the divide and conquer tactics. How do we identify agents within our community? And then I'm going to present to y'all this structure, is what I'll call it, of how we probably need to move forward in this black liberation. We'll get to that. Now, the divide and conquer tactics, how do we fight those and identify agents, is going to be a back and forth conversation because both of them are intertwined. Because you do fight the divide and conquer tactics by identifying agents. There are people that seek white approval to the point that they're used as mouthpieces. Candace Owens, Sheriff Clark, Jesse Lee Petersons, those types. Jason Whitlocks. They seek white approval so much. We call them coons. But I don't want to talk about the coons. I want to talk about the agents. The ones who present themselves as pro-black this, pro-black that. And then they say little subtle shit and do little subtle shit that makes you, look at them funny. Like the Sean Kings, Talcum X is what some people like to call them. See, we're going to use Sean King as an example. See, the Sean Kings will be the first on the front line or on the fort saying, hey, we need to help black people. Hey, we need to fight this racism. We need to fight this racism. I'm raising money to help fund the investigation of these people and what we need to do with these people. Like, when the Charlottesville riots happened, Sean King was using his platform to help identify each and every person that beat up a black man. And in the same spin, he was raising money, and then he released that chart showing where that money went. Sean King has done so much to me that made me raise my eyebrows that I'm like, this guy's an agent. He's the person that's in here, whether he started as an agent or he got co-opted. You know what I mean? A lot of times you'll see situations where they won't even try and build an agent because it's so hard to do. These motherfuckers be so stupid and out of touch that it's not a good thing to build an agent. It's better to find somebody that has a little cachet in the black community than you send them. Then you go co-opt them and then you send them back. Like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing, and then you're going to bring us back information, and we're going to use it as we see fit. Angela Davis seems to be an agent. She was a writer. The next thing you know, she's talking All Lives Matter. And now it seems like there's this big feminist push to elevate Angela Davis. Or this, now they like, oh, you guys are misogynistic because you guys are calling out Angela Davis on her bullshit. Well, yeah, everybody gets caught up in bullshit. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing died as a writer. Assata Shakur died as a writer. Harriet Tubman died as a writer. You see what I'm saying? There's plenty of black women we can reference that die as writers. Angela Davis isn't one of them. She's been co-opted and now she's an agent. So to identify these agents, because they're the ones who are sent first, they're like the Marines. They're sent in first for the divide and conquer tactic. And then they're backed by the media, which is the army, for the divide and conquer tactics. Then the Air Force comes in. Start dropping bombs. Boom, 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 boom. That's the law, the policies, the politicians. And the Navy comes in. That's the consequence for all those things that happen. The Navy is the final form. Typically, when you see the Navy SEALs, it's the last thing you see. Typically, when the Navy SEALs come in, that means it's some serious shit going down. Now, the reason why I want to use these military references is because it's going to play into a part that I'm going to talk about with the way we should function for black liberation. So I wanted to plant that seed for you, just in case you didn't catch it. So we have to how do we fight the divide and conquer tactics? We must identify agents and remove them. We have to isolate these agents. See, when you attack an Angela Davis, these feminists make it seem like it's an attack on them. No, we're isolating Angela Davis in this little bubble, and we're getting her out of here. We're isolating Ashawn King in this bubble. We're getting him out of here. So we need to isolate these agents. Stop backing these people. I don't give a fuck if they did everything good under the sun. I told y'all, a lot of time, they're no longer building these agents. They're waiting till you catch some cash. They're waiting till you get a little cachet in the black community. Then they come in and co-opt you. So unfortunately, if you get co-opted, which means you do not stand for black liberation uncompromisingly, if you get co-opted, then you must be removed. You can no longer cash in that cachet. You can't cash in the cachet because you have been co-opted, which means your priority was not black liberation, which means your life was not willing to be put on the line for black liberation. See, because what were they going to do what do they have on you? What were you doing to the point that you got co-opted? What did they threaten you with? That's the question we got to ask. We got to ask the question, what did they threaten you with? Because if they were able to get to you to the point that you're turning on your people, doing a 180 on your stance, that means they may have some shit on you. Now I'm concerned about what the fuck that may be. What do they have on you to the point that you will turn on your people? That scares me, if we're being honest. Let's be honest. If they have something on you to the point where you are now scared, you no longer want to fight for your people the way you were, that scares me. Because that means they got something so crazy on you that it brings this fear of coming out. So now you're not only an agent, you're a danger. Because you're going to start getting desperate if you don't get certain things, if you don't get certain information, and they start bringing the weights down on you, and they start putting that pressure on you, you're going to get desperate, and then you get dangerous. Y'all know this. Any desperate person is dangerous. Somebody's desperate for food, they'll blow your fucking head off for a cheeseburger. A desperate person is dangerous. So if they get you to the point of desperation, you're dangerous to the community. So we must isolate and identify agents. We must identify the agents first, then isolate them and get them removed. That's the first step. Because what happens is the mainstream media likes to use these agents as mouthpieces so they don't look racist. If we learn to identify, isolate, and eject them, they can no longer be used by the media. Now what's the next plan? The media just got to come at us face on. Now we can look at the media dead in their face and call them out. We fight the media with our own media. The new black media needs to be amplified. That's step 2. Amplifying the new black media. Because if we don't have a source of media that we can rely on that's uncompromising, that we can rely on, then we don't have a universal voice for the black liberation. No, it doesn't have to come from one media source. But every media source needs to be on code. And the code is black liberation. I gave y'all the code too. I told y'all to be on code. Go find the episode. Y'all need to go through the archive. I took the numbers off for a reason. I took the numbers off by episodes for a reason because I don't want you to listen in order. I want you to listen based on need. Where are you at right now? Wherever you are at, go find the episode to correlate with that and continue to move forward from there. Go bounce around those episodes. I don't care if you gotta go from episode 50 to 10 to 12 and whatever the episode number is. I took them off so you would just go where you need to go. Go get the information. So step 2 is amplifying the black media. So now we can have a voice through media. And in the black media, because this is step 2A, y'all need to be held responsible for amplifying other voices. We can't just have a couple voices in black media and that's it. We need to amplify other voices in black media. So treat it like correspondence. How mainstream media call in their correspondents, we need to have black media correspondents as well. People that's out in the field, people that have specialties in certain situations, people that have specialties in certain areas. We need to find them and amplify those voices, including myself. I need to start interviewing people, having people call in, whatever the case may be. I need to do that as well. Pre-recorded interview if I have to. I'm not exempt from this. I'm not exempt from this. Now, what else needs to happen to fight, divide, and conquer? We need to stop letting petty differences divide us. We will let the simple fact of sexuality divide us. We will let the simple fact of what somebody said 10 years ago divide us. Somebody might have said some fucked up shit 10 years ago. They have shown, since then, 10 straight years of consistency on this new thought after they were educated on that stupid shit they said, and we will go back to the stupid shit and hold on to that. Why are you harboring that hurt? Why are you so unforgiving for your black brother or sister, but you not unforgiving for the mainstream media that put you all in this situation? Not you all, put us, because I'm with y'all. I'm black, motherfucker. I'm a black American. I'm an American descendant of slaves. I can trace my history back to that shit. I did my DNA test. Now, I was telling people, hey, go to this other company. They can trace you back to your tribe. Why the fuck do I need to know my tribe? I have no heritage for Africa. My ancestors been here from jump since 17. I can give y'all the exact year. Or I guess it would be the approximate year, to be technical. My ancestors been here since 17. Come on now. Come on now. Since the 1700s. So yeah, it says approximately. Early North Carolina African Americans, rise of slavery in the 1700s. So we are in 2020. I want to do some quick math. I know I should be able to do this in my head, but I want to do it via a calculator because I like to be exact. My calculator moved because I got this new damn system. I'm on this beta for iOS 14. It says 320 years. I have no fucking connection to Africa. I don't care about a tribe. I'm a black American. My ancestors built this motherfucker, so I want to get my riches and get what's due to me here. Go back to Africa for what? To not know where the fuck I come from? The DNA test tell me I'm from Nigeria, but who gives a fuck? I have no roots in Nigeria. I don't know a single person in Nigeria, and I guarantee you them Nigerians don't give a fuck about my black American ass. They call me a kata and things of that nature. So, fuck all that. So, we gotta stop being so easily satisfied. Number 4. We gotta stop being so easily satisfied. These motherfuckers are just naming streets Black Lives Matter Boulevard or whatever. We saw that already. We saw Malcolm X Boulevard. We saw Martin Luther King Boulevard. We don't need a Black Lives Matter Boulevard. That's symbolic. I don't want symbolism. I want tangibles. Y'all be so happy with fucking symbolism. That's not a fucking win. DC painted Black Lives Matter on the road that leads up to the White House that Trump is in, and y'all think that's a win. How is that a win? Trump is still in office. White supremacists are still running rampant. They announced indictments on 3 people that killed Ahmaud Arbery, and y'all think that's a win. That's not a fucking win. That's not a conviction. Y'all are so happy with symbolism that y'all don't see this shit through. Breonna Taylor's killers are still fucking loose. They're still loose. Yeah, her boyfriend got out of jail from shooting him. So what? Her killers are still loose. They fired one of the 3. Y'all want symbolism? I want justice. And eventually, justice is going to turn into revenge. That's what's going to happen next. Justice will turn into revenge. Then everybody gonna say, hey, wait. We're ready to seek justice now. Hey, wait. We're willing to give justice now. No, too late now. We tried justice. Y'all won't give it to us. So it's revenge time. That's what's going to happen next. And you scared niggas need to get out the way right now. Because that's the path we're on. We're on a path to revenge. Fuck justice. Because they ain't trying to give it. Now, before I go off too crazy, it's time we talk about, it's important that we talk about a new strategy. You see, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because of divide and conquer tactics. A lot of times you'll see they try and divide us sexually, or meaning they'll have the straight people versus the LGBT people, or they'll try and divide us based on gender, male versus female, and things of that nature. I found a solution for that. You see, there are some people in the straight community that will not fight for the trans community or the LGBT community, period. There are some people in the LGBT community that will not fight for the straight community. But we are all black. A lot of us are black Americans. And I think it's irresponsible of us to try and act like a monolith even within liberation. So here's what I'd go ahead and propose to you. We treat this fight for black liberation like the military. You see, let's use the United States military because I'm a black American, so I'm going to use what I know. The United States military has the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Army, the Marines, the Air Force, and now the Space Force, which is a branch, I believe, of the Air Force, if I'm not mistaken. Here's what I propose. There's no reason for us to interfight publicly. You see, the common American citizen don't know that the Army, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, Navy don't truly respect each other. The Army and the Marines are probably tighter as far as their kinship, but they don't fuck with the Air Force, the Navy, or the Coast Guard. The Army and Marines, because I was in the Air Force. For y'all that didn't know, I was in the Air Force. I served in the Air Force. The Army and the Marines feel like the Air Force is soft. The Air Force feel like the Army and Marines are too dumb to get into the Air Force. Everyone else feel like the Coast Guard is too damn easy and they're useless. They're not useless, but they're disrespected a lot. The Navy is their own thing. They probably the ones who like, I don't give a fuck about what y'all think. We doing our thing over here in the Navy. You feel what I'm saying? But they also have the Navy SEALs, which is top tier. The Army has the Rangers. The Marines are just all around the Marines. The Air Force have the PJs. They have the planes. They have a couple of the special forces, combat control, things of that nature. I think it's combat control. I forgot. But they have a special forces in the Air Force. The Army only has the Rangers. The Marines are pretty much just a unit of motherfucking special forces. That's why they do 13 weeks of basic training. Army, Air Force do 8.5. Coast Guard do 3. Navy, I believe, also does 8.5. But you gotta be able to swim as well. So, point is, each branch have a certain purpose. The Coast Guard is supposed to guard the coast. So a lot of times you'll hear about the Coast Guard in the southern coast. You'll hear about them a lot. Basically protecting us from drugs, things of that nature. Coast Guard. Air Force, air, in the sky, planes, things of that nature. Navy, water. They're the ships, things of that nature. Army, land, Marine, land. Each branch has their missions. Each branch serves their purpose. So what I'm proposing is, for black liberation, we need to branch off to serve our fucking purposes. Here's what I mean by that. All of those branches in the United States military serve under one flag. The United States of American flag. They may all have different opinions of each other. They may say things about each other. Whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, they serve one flag. The Coast Guard has no control on what the Marines, Army, Air Force, or Navy does. The Navy has no control over what the Coast Guard, Army, or Marines done. Air Force, same thing, so on and so forth. Now, do officers all hold the same rank within those? Yes, they do. You see, the officers across the board, there are officers across the board. An Air Force officer, an Army officer, a Marine officer, a Navy officer, across the board. You salute them as a NCO or so forth. So a staff sergeant, things of that nature, a master sergeant, whatever it is your rank is, whichever branch you're in. If a fucking captain walks through, you salute that captain. So again, what I'm proposing is we act like branches of one military serving one thing. Let's say the military in the United States is serving that flag. We are serving black liberation. So we are serving black liberation. Although you may disagree with the lifestyle of certain people, for example, if you are straight or what they call cisgender, and you disagree with the LGBT community, at the end of the day, those are black brothers and sisters. If they're not coons or sellouts, things of that nature, they deserve black protection as well. We are all under one fucking cause. Black liberation. I understand you don't fuck with the LGBT community. Well, don't go join the fucking Coast Guard. Join the Army. Join the Marines. Join the Air Force. Join the Navy. Don't join the Coast Guard. Let the Coast Guard do what they do. You get what I'm saying? So, ultimately, it's the responsibility of every single black person to fight for black liberation. Which branch you join or which branch you're a part of, that's a whole nother ball game. Focus on that branch. Now, if you need support, because sometimes the Army needs support from the Air Force. They need the Air Force to come in. Sometimes the Marines need the Air Force to come in. Sometimes the Marine go in conjunction with the Army Rangers. Sometimes we need to help each other. We need to be able to put certain issues aside and get the mission done. And if the mission is black liberation, all those who are focused on black liberation should be helped. I am a cisgender black man. They think I got some type of privilege. I have nothing but male privilege. I don't have black male privilege. I have male privilege. Meaning I can go for a jog and not have to worry about some men trying to rape me. But as a black man, I do got to worry about motherfuckers trying to kill me, Ahmaud Arbery. Either way, maybe it's time we treat ourselves like the United States military. Get in your branch, continue to fight for black liberation, and if you need support, we support you, as long as you're continuing to fight for black liberation. Do they talk about each other within each branch? Abso-fucking-lutely. They talk crazy about each other. But when it's time to get on that battlefield, and the Army and the Marines are sitting next to each other, the only thing that fucking matters is that flag on that shoulder. That flag on the shoulder is all that matters. If your focus is black liberation, you have my support. I don't give a fuck about your lifestyle, what branch you serve. That's the mentality we need to have moving forward. Because then there will be no more divide and conquer. There's nothing to divide. Let's say cisgender men are the Army. the oldest generation, the oldest branch of the military. Cisgender women are the Marines, the second oldest, or whichever, vice versa, whichever, I don't care. Then we go Air Force, bisexual, Navy, gay, Coast Guard, the rest of the LGBT community. If we take that stance, then we can go ahead and argue each other internally all we want. But when it's time to hit that battlefield, black liberation is the only thing that matters. So I can be in the Army, disagree what's going on in the Coast Guard or the Navy, or in the Marines, how they doing things. But when we get on that battlefield, it's like, yo, fuck all that right now. This is what we need to be doing. And then when we get back to base, we'll discuss what's going on from there. That is what I propose. I propose that if you are in a different branch of the military or of the Black Liberation Military, you fight for that. But when things become overwhelming for you, or things become too much for you, you ask for help. You call on the Army, you call on the Marines, you call on the Air Force, the Navy, whichever branch you're in, you call on the other branches to help you. That is how we achieve black liberation moving forward. Then we'll hash out our differences however we need to do that. But right now, priority number one is black liberation, World War I. All hands on deck. I appreciate y'all tuning into this episode of Unorthodox Logic with Marv. I hope that I sparked some type of conversation or whatever the case may be. I hope that you truly understand what I'm getting at. And I hope that you can express yourself in some type of dialogue. Because that's what I want to do. I want to open dialogue. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at HVOMarv, Instagram, Twitter, things of that nature. And talk to me, baby. I won't bite. I'm open to civil discourse. I'm open to that. We'll talk next week. Peace.